was a typo, and I'm like, welcome to Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Robert. What's up, man?
Yo, what up?
And today we are discussing comic tie-ins to games, movies, and such, and talking about the canonicity, if that's the word, for this, because it goes back and forth depending on the IP.
Yep, but why I brought this up was the Sonic kerfuffle going on because two characters from the IDW comics were added into Crossworlds. I forget their names right now, but there are two characters that were comic exclusive. And not only that, they were also given voices when they appeared on TalesTube, the official YouTube channel, which confirms their canonicity. And now you're having people who are like, oh, but it wasn't always canon. It is now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the way that most IPs handle this is like the main source of the IP. Like for Halo, it's games. For Star Wars, it's movies. That is the canon that supersedes all other canon.
Exactly. That's the reason why the Halo show is its own separate canon.
Well, that's also because the people in charge of that show didn't know what Halo was.
And didn't want to know.
Exactly. Hey, what's up, Thoth? And HWH says, man, I wish Star Wars The Force Unleashed was canon.
Nope. He was Star Killer was too OP'd.
That's why I think they decanonized it, because while the story is good, a Jedi that can pull a Star Destroyer down, no. Now,
to be fair, that has been done before.
Yeah, but it's like...
But Luke did it.
Yeah, Luke is believable, but it's like this guy that just shows up. But anyway, and to be clear, I like the story of The Force Unleashed. It's just sometimes it's like, no, that would not happen.
Exactly.
But that's the other like that's the other like thing that like I see with this is like, look.
Well, look, let's look at this.
Yeah,
let's do the prime example. Injustice.
Yeah, exactly. Or and also Batman Arkham.
Well, here's the thing. Arkham was very loose. At least with Injustice, most of the canon was kept until Injustice 2.
Yeah.
And but when it comes to the Batman stuff, those things were hardly ever canon. Yeah. Except for kills Arkham.
Well, the funny part is that Rocksteady kept telling people they were canon.
And they would contradict it constantly.
Yeah, and there's so many content creators that were covering those comics, and they were like, I don't think you know what canon means.
I mean, I think because the reason why they said that was because the only thing that they kept that was canon was the cremation scene.
And JH, yes, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is still canon according to Rocksteady. It's going to be canon until they reboot the universe.
But Kills Arkham does fit better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it fits. Yeah, exactly.
The only problem I have with it, they kill off Mad Hatter in it.
Well, yeah, and that kind of explains why he's not there. So there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, and now again, it's like just because people don't like the stories, let's say, doesn't mean they're not canon. It's like there's too many people that are like, it's not canon to me, and I go, it's canon to the people that actually have control over the IP.
Again, going back to Sonic. Sega said it's canon. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue there. If the people who own it say it's canon, it's canon.
Yeah, it's like you may not like it, but let's face it, it's canon. Like I got news for you. The sequel trilogy, until they retcon it out, is canon.
Which they very well could.
They very well could. There's many different ways they could do it, even though it would be a maddening defeat. But yeah, but it's like with the funny part is that canon contradictions came about with Halo because Reach contradicted the Fall of Reach novel that came out before the like around the time Halo CE came out. But again, Bungie's like Bungie, at least Halo Studios now is like, look. If the games are the primary canon that supersedes everything, and that's kind of the way that works.
Yep, it's like now sometimes you'll have creators that are sticking the muds about it, like Karen Travis, who when she worked on Star Wars novels, she ended up having to be like, there's a specific number of clones, and then later George Lucas and everything contradicted it all, and she had a hissy fit.
Oh, really? Hey, what's up, Tevia? Wow, I didn't know
Karen
that.
Travis is notorious for No, it's my way. Even to Lucas.
Really? I did not know that.
And oh yeah, she's also the one who killed off Mara Jade.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Elementa asks, are the rumors about Rocksteady making a Superman game? I don't see anything like happening for that. I haven't seen the rumors in like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But Tavia says, I think Sonic comics are in canon since we are seeing IDW. Yes,
Yep.
that's why. That's why. And that's partly what motivated.
And it was canon from the beginning. The very first issue of IDW Sonic was set after Forces.
Yeah.
And they said up until 60, between issue 1 and 60-something, 68, I think, is considered between Forces and Frontier.
Yeah, it's like that's what people forget, honestly. It's like, look, what the again, I want to reemphasize this. What the IP holder says is canon is canon.
Here's what we have people to realize. Archie was never canon because Archie became too much of its own separate world.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, they might have done some separate non-canon to their main stuff, but canon to the games one-shots, but they never did any actual in-canon stories that were considered canon.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? And it was she, Karen, who killed her. Why?
Yeah, it's like
drama.
Yeah, exactly, drama. But and I hate it when writers have to force in drama. That never works. Excuse me. Elementa says, what's annoying is it seems Sega did own the rights to Freedom Fighters, especially Princess Sally, but never found a reason to use them in the game, which annoys me.
Well, because they were so separate from everything, and the only game that ever was canon was Spinball, but that was a spinoff anyway.
Are there any plans to resurrect Arkham Wonder Woman in a tie-in comic? I have no idea. They could.
Doubt it.
Well, that's the thing. Let me put it this way. If they continue the Arkhamverse post-Suicide Squad, they could. That's the thing. When people were throwing a fit about them killing Wonder Woman, I'm like, there is 80 different ways they can bring Wonder Woman back.
Exactly.
Like that's the least of that game's problems. Archie, I knew what wasn't canon from the start because I always treated it because of Sonic Sat AM. But
it wasn't tied into Sat AM. It took elements from Sat AM, but it was still its own separate thing.
I see. But yeah, it's like, and that's the thing about and now the interesting case of like canon is Star Wars, because Star Wars had a very interesting way of breaking it down.
A canon, which was movies, that was Lucas canon. Then you had B canon, that was the novels, and some of the games. Then you had C canon, games that were like lesser tier games and everything, like the kiddie games and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had D canon, which wasn't canon at all. That was stuff like the deviations or whatever that was called.
Yeah,
the infinities.
Yeah, and Elementa. Yeah, there were recordings that said that the Justice League were clones. That's what it is.
They were. It was always, and there was constantly hints anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if Flash had his finger cut off, next time we saw him, he had his finger back.
People have tried to argue that there was like a recording in the game files that said that he was that said that they were like actually like turned evil, but I'm like, if it's not in the game, it's not canon. It's not a retcon.
Exactly.
Is Darth Talon still canon? I have no idea.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
anyone that was created pre-Disney Star Wars, unless they're referenced in the A canon, are not canon.
So basically, the only thing that is canon is from the old stuff is Clone Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
And the movies.
And now they could bring it back and do more stuff. They could, but I don't anticipate them doing it yet.
Exactly. But yeah, basically, I mean, also Ahsoka, the novel Ahsoka, but that goes without saying.
Yeah, because again, it
was written by Filoni.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tevye says, actually, I am surprised we didn't get Star Wars Revenge of the Sith Infinity comic.
Oh, Infinity was their what ifs. Well, to be fair, Tevye, we only had it for the original trilogy.
Yeah, it's not like they did it for the prequel.
By the way,
trilogy as well.
you want to know what the Infinities were?
Go ahead.
First one, what if they didn't blow up the Death Star? It
Mhm.
gets really dark. But then it ends with Yoda showing up, taking control of the Death Star, and slamming it into Coruscant right on top of Palpatine.
Oh, that's dope.
Yep. I remember Return of the Jedi was, what if things went wrong at Jabba's palace? And by the end of that, you actually have Vader wearing a white suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the one. I got to double check which ones they were.
That's a good one. And by the way, NJ says killing off the only female member of the league and freaking Wonder Woman, no less, was stupid and lame. Yeah, but at least they made it super easy to bring her back. That's like the part about that's like a consolation prize. Because here's the thing, again, anyone that like really knows Wonder Woman, there's 80 ways to bring her back.
Oh, I found what they were. The second one is, what if Luke died on Hoth, prompting Leia to take his place?
Okay.
Yep.
Like, what if he froze to death on?
No. What if the Wampa actually cut him up deeper?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yep.
But
and then the Return of the Jedi is, what if the negotiations failed?
Yeah, exactly.
Was Jabba. The negotiations with Jabba failed.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the Arkham comics always contradict the game. Yeah, exactly. Really, I think, again, Rocksteady kept trying to do stuff for marketing purposes. That's why they kept saying, oh, the comics are canon. Or
but again, the only one was the epilogue or endgame.
Yeah, Elementus says the prequel trilogy may be getting some reappraisal from some people because how much the disaster sequel trilogy was. Crap. They're not the best movies, but yeah, But Jay, that's not the purpose of this conversation, though. The purpose of it is just to talk about tie-in material.
Now, here's what else we have: prequel comics for movies.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fun, fluff, but be honest, they were never counted.
Like, to that point, the Flash prequel comic for the movie, even that was like clearly not canon.
Even the Man of Steel one, even though give it a Supergirl, it's like, how does this make any sense?
Or Batman versus Superman.
Yep.
So it's like,
I still remember the Superman Returns tie-ins were actually done as a way to get around doing adaptations of the first two movies because, legally they can't.
Yeah, exactly. Pika, hey, what's up, Pika? Some of the Arkham tie-in comics should have been included as DLC episodes in the game because they filled in.
Oh yeah, some of them, yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's like it could be that they didn't have time or resources to do it,
or did they care,
or just didn't care. But people forget that like these game companies can't just include stuff.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, and technically, Old Republic had tie-in comics from Dark Horse back in the day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing people have to remember when it comes to these tie-in stuff. Like, remember the Black Adam tie-ins?
Mm-hmm.
Those were interesting. Or the Shazam one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Fury of the God special with the actual actors involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I remember the Green Lantern tie-ins. Yeah, now that one actually had people involved with the movie involved, but let's be honest, that was still just for fun.
Yeah, even if they have tie-in games, the tie-in games for like the Marvel movies, obviously the majority of the MCU ones, as far as we know, is not canon.
I'll tell you this. Can I tell you one tie-in game that I think I will still say is canon to its movie?
What?
Watchmen.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because that's a prequel.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Tevia says, I forgot the Black Adam. Oh, yeah, the Black Adam movie comics. I mean,
they were fun.
Those. You could. Yeah. It's funny that Harley Quinn isn't a comic book character, but from BTAS. Yeah. No. Yeah, but they incorporated her into canon.
Yep.
Yeah,
much like they did with Renee Montoya.
Yeah, exactly. The Batgirl DLC could have done more if it had Jason as Robin in it and ended with the Joker escaping with. But that's not how Robin was taken hostage in the Arkhamverse beforehand.
Exactly.
So they can't really do that. And by the way, Elementus says, You know what tie-ins you can fit into canon, even it contradicts the main meaning
Yep.
of Doctor Who. Yeah.
Well, that's, but even then, a lot of the Titan comics, they do very strongly try to make them keep them canon. Like, or the Doctor Who magazine. For example, after when you had David Tennant come back as the 14th Doctor, they actually had to be a story that took place right afterward that was said to be his first adventure.
Or it's like even the Rebel Moon comics are said to be like canon prequels to everything.
Yeah, some people use the comics as tie-ins. Sometimes they'll even use. Now, I'll say this: stuff that comics that could be considered official sequels. I know one example of one that was a sequel until it wasn't, and that was the Tron comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like you had the Tron 2.0 game, that was the sequel until it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, granted, you could have some people say, "Oh, I prefer this over Tron Legacy." That's fair, but that's not the official sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, I would say this: do you think Smallville season 11 is canon?
That's a good question.
I'd say it is because there's nothing that really contradicts.
Well, yeah, because it's taking place after the show, so.
And we're actually seeing Clark be a Superman.
I'd say it would be canon unless they made that Smallville animated series that they keep trying to make and won't let die, even though it's clearly never going to happen.
Yeah, if that happens, then the comic is tossed out. But until then...
Unless they decide to straight up just adapt it.
Yeah, which they could.
Yeah, all right. But should we also count the Arrow comics? I wouldn't. A lot of the TV show comics, again, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I really liked season 11, especially of the Smallville comic, especially how it ended up with the Anti-Monitor.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That by the end of it all, the Anti-Monitor was the final villain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Anyone remember the prequel comic for the 2009 Astro Boy movie?
No, I do not.
I mean, let me put it this way: with prequels, that's the other thing. With prequel-like things, I mean, again, it depends on if the movie it's prequeling, if you will, actually like references like the comic and contradicts it. What's up, Cameron? So it's like if it does that, obviously the canonicity is like
exactly.
But if it doesn't, it's like, okay, it's fine. You can still count it. Like, in other words, the way I approach tie-in material is that if it's not contradicted by the material it's tying into, I count it as canon.
Exactly.
And Tevia brings up the 2012 Judge Dredd comics. Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Exactly. Sometimes you have them tie in like that. Sometimes. Season
11 is also one of my favorite Diane and Steve shipping. You mean the one where they're raised as kids? Yeah, I don't like that. Are Mass Effect tie-in comics canon to the game? I would say yes, because again, as far as I know, nothing's contradicted.
Exactly, and they do fill in a lot of the gaps. That's the beauty of some of these comics. When they're actually filling in stuff that they have no intention on tapping into, it's fine. Or you actually have people involved who actually worked on the game involved with the writing.
Well, the other thing is, like, even the comics, they explain how, like, Cerberus got Shepard's body and such.
Yep.
So it's like, is Blue Beetle part of the Snyderverse, or can he show up in James? James going to address this. Again, it's tie-in media, JH. Don't know if you guys talked about it, but thoughts on the MCU tie-ins. Games or comics? Because we talked about the games. I haven't read any of, like, the tie-in comics, though. But still, it's like, would that really count?
Oh, by the way, here's something else that, from what I understand, as far as Paramount is concerned, are canon, the IDW Star Trek comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Lately, they are considered canon.
All right, JH, again, we're talking about prequel comics for movies. We're not talking about if this movie is in canon. We're not doing that. Wait, they have game tie-ins? Yeah, the first couple of MCU movies, and that's Hulk, Cap, Iron Man, and Thor, all have tie-in games by Sega. Not bad, honestly.
I'll tell you that now. Here's an example of a game that was written as a sequel to the movie, and guess what the final word? Hulk!
Yeah, exactly.
Yang Lee movie!
Yeah, exactly.
That game is canon.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I've seen, it's a pretty good game.
A bit monotonous.
It walked so Ultimate Destruction could run.
Well, yeah, radical.
What's funny is, about big finishes Doctor Who audio, they sometimes find intentionally come up with a way to fix.
Those are canon. Those are canon. Unless again, that's another case of the show is A canon, Big Finish is B canon, comics are C canon.
JH, again, we're talking about tie-ins, comic tie-ins to IPs. We're not talking about video game tie-ins, even though X-Men Origins Wolverine.
No, okay, we did bring up some of them, but that one's the case where that is its own loose telling of the movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's like, what canon? What would it be a part of? Even the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie is not really canon to the X-Men movie.
I'll say this. Cameron asked a good question. Do you think that's the thing about trying to get it right?
Yeah, because
I think that's why they get so dropped so easily.
That's the thing. If tie-ins are just gonna be like explaining more about who the character is, that's fine. It's like, particularly if the reference to the tie-ins in the movie is, remember when this happened? Yeah. Anyway.
Now, here's what I feel is what they should do. It's like kind of like again at the Arkham Endgame, they had the Joker be cremated. They referenced it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they should do.
Yeah, exactly.
They should actually adapt whatever they're using rather than referencing it. They should adapt it.
And by Tevia asked about the Predator comics. I don't know because
again we don't know
directly referenced.
Exactly.
If they haven't been directly referenced by the stuff, I'm sorry, I don't have.
By the way, Elementa, I think that's actually how people like to look at the Men in Black cartoon. It is its separate canon.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's like, unless told by the IP holder, I just assume either it's canon if it doesn't contradict it, or like it's not.
Or it's canon to a specific, like in that case, it's only canon to the first movie, nothing else.
Assassin's Creed tie-ins. I would.
Now the movie is canon.
The movie is canon, and the comics are actually canon because I have the lore book and they're directly referenced.
Exactly.
And have you read the Mortal Kombat tie-in comics? I haven't.
Those are loosely canon too.
Yeah, but it's like, again,
they don't matter now.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the Ghostbusters cartoon spin-off Extreme Ghostbusters isn't in any way a tie into the movie.
Okay, no. Now, here's where you get a little iffy. Is the Ghostbusters game canon to the new movies?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the IDW Ghostbusters comics, those originally were canon until Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because they were considered the official canon, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife threw it all out the window.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, again, it's like this way. Oh wait, your favorite Assassin's Creed characters? Mine are Enzio or Haytham. That's a good question. Cassandra, number one, obviously, and I would have to go with if I have to pick another Assassin's Creed character that I really like. Who is the protagonist in Black Flag again?
I don't recall, but I'll be honest. I would say for me, it's Naoe from Shadows.
Okay,
I really like her.
Oh yeah, Edward Kenway is my other favorite.
Right, but for me, I definitely really liked Naoe.
Yeah, okay, that works. That works 100%.
I know some people might call me crazy.
Favorite stealth video game that has tie-in comics?
Tevia, if you're going somewhere that, just say it. Don't ask.
Yeah, because we're not talking about the games themselves. But again, NCO's my go. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the thing
the thing about tie-ins though, like again, going back to Injustice, that was a great undertaking.
Oh yeah, well here's the funny thing about the Injustice comics. They were originally year one was just supposed to be all the comics. They sold so well that they're like, do all 5 years.
Really? I always thought it was the case. They always planned to do all 5 years. Nope,
they weren't. The original idea was they were just going to do like the first year, and that was going to lead to like the it was. I imagine it would be like
they would have jumped to the end.
Yeah, but they were so popular. They're like, can you do more? Because that was
That explains a lot. That explains why they started running out of ideas toward the end.
Yeah, because that was around the time that DC was doing also digital first, so they really started to do that because that's when Justice started as.
Yep. But would you agree? That's when things go to, like I said, look at how short the later years got.
And that's the thing. Comic Story and RIP did a video about that. Where he was like, the problem with like Injustice is that it just kept going. They didn't know when to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
That explains why so much of the best stuff was in the first year.
Yeah. Wait. It just recalled Young Justice Italian comics in the game. Yeah. I mean, are those really canon?
They were. Yes, they are. Because Weisman worked on them.
Okay, yeah. That's the other thing. If the original creative team works on the game and the story and it's very
they at least have a stronger standing.
Yeah, you can, like, put it this way. There are some times where like it contradicts, but you can, for the most part, like, take it.
Like, yeah, like again, Dave Filoni worked on a Star Wars Darth Maul comic that is considered canon.
Yeah, exactly. Injustice Year 4 was more like 3 random weekends than a year event. Exactly. Very much so. But yeah, it's like.
Well, here's the. I think Debbie brings up about Perfect Dark and the others. Perfect Dark, those are canon within up until Perfect Dark 0. Yeah,
exactly.
Again, that's the case of they can be canon until they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something people have to realize is going on. They can be canon until they're not anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when people say, "Oh, this game now contradicts this novel." I'm sorry. If like the next Halo game contradicts a novel, take the game as canon.
Always.
Yeah, take the original source material as canon. Particularly with Star Wars, if like let's say the next Star Wars movie contradicts like a Legends novel, so
well, we already knew Legends was thrown out.
No, but I know, but some people will complain about that, and I'm like, okay, but you could say you don't like it and you like the Legends canon more. I do too, but it's like, look, you can't like say it contradicts it because they're both not canon.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I appreciate that they brought in Timothy Zahn to write some new Thrawn novels.
Mm-hmm.
Because it rebuilds up his backstory, but he works within what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the man is respectful.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tavia says, if you think about it, Hitman also, yeah, a lot of different IPs have it. Or like Star Trek has it.
Hey, StarCraft, going back to Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn wrote StarCraft 2 Evolution, which is a sequel to StarCraft 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Timothy Zahn's really good. Give him that crap.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like that's kind of the way like the position goes, and it's like that's
when it comes to movies, they are almost never purely canon.
Yeah, I know. It's like, again, when people were talking about how like the tie-in comics for Flash contradicted the movie, or the movie contradicted the tie-in comics, I'm like, never take the tie-in comics for particular superhero movie as canon.
Especially, here's the other big reason why. Usually they're starting being worked on with a version of the script that's not finalized, or the editing could completely redo it.
Exactly. So it's like, just don't do that. Don't do that.
That's why I think they've been doing them less and less these days.
Yeah, have you guys read the League of Legends? No. I think that what DC does that's better is they just release like box sets of like the graphic novels that the movie's based on. That's the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Or an adaptation.
Yeah, or an adaptation. Just do that. And then like make sure you re-release like an adaptation, because like it's like, remember when this would technically count as a tie-in when DC was DC? No, it was Marvel, when the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was coming out. And the thing is, remember, they had to rearrange the projects because I think there was something that has to do with like COVID. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first. So WandaVision came out first. And then it's like there were the comic that was supposed to be the big promo for Falcon Winter Soldier came out around the time WandaVision was coming out. So I'm like, it was like, what is going on? I'm like, well, that's again why that's the problem with tie-in material as well, because you're so dependent on the material you're tying into.
By the way, one thing I miss about the old comic adaptations is and now here's the thing, they had more relevance back when VHS was the only thing to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it allowed people to find out what's going on to those who couldn't make it to the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Nowadays, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and that's the other reason why I think other people, like the studios, have stopped doing them, because there's really no reason to do it.
Now, here's something I can tell you. In my eyes, I could see a lot of them canon because it's such an episodic show. Batman 66.
Yeah, that one is the one where like the contradictions are like part of the show. So it's like,
yeah, how many times did they change actors? Heck,
yeah,
I'll say this. Superman, all these continuation projects, they're canon.
Yeah, I would say so.
Or in the case of Batman 89, they're telling a new canon.
Yeah, exactly. I would say so.
Because if you notice, Batman 89 just completely follows up on returns, nothing else.
Yeah, 110%. Yeah, it's like, but
now there's only one Batman 66 comic I will say is not canon.
Which is
Wonder Woman 77.
Well, yeah, because it's like those things are clearly not in the same universe.
Oh no. It's because of how it ended.
Yeah,
they gave us a future of this Batman that is horrible. If it wasn't for that, I could see it fit canon.
Here's the thing. Of all the universes you could have tied in that with, why 66? The tone is consistent, but it's like, why?
Well, to be fair, people have actually paired up Batman 66, Superman, the George Reeves Superman, and Wonder Woman 77. That's saying that they could have worked.
Personally, I would have preferred her with Reeves, but that's just me.
True. What, Christopher or George?
Chris.
Yeah, because there are two Reeves.
Yeah, I know. And one is Reeves plural and one is Reeve singular.
Yep.
Wait, how about the Batman 66 comic that Two-Face before they animated?
Oh, yeah. Again, I consider that because they never did a Two-Face story. I consider that canon.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's like if they didn't do the story, and again, there's nothing in there that seems to like straight up contradict something, just take it as canon.
By the way, Batman 66 had to meet the Legion, and it turns out in this continuity, Robin is what inspired the Legion.
Okay.
Hey, kind of makes sense.
That's interesting.
Then you have Archie. You have Archie meets Batman 66.
Yeah, exactly. Or Archie versus the Predator. Okay,
that is a separate canon, but yeah, I can say I do feel these continuations are in their own way continuity. Now, believe it or not, it's now official. Batman 78 and Batman 89 exist in the same world.
Yep.
789.
Yeah, I love that where it says 789. That actually works really well.
But the big question, though, doesn't that mean that Superman's been around a lot longer than Batman?
It depends on on the way the timelines align.
True. Well, we already saw him dealing with the communists.
That's true. Regarding IDW Ghostbusters, it seems like to follow the movie timeline, but with a crossover with real Ghostbusters featuring a different version.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you know what I love about that crossover with the 06 movie? What? They actually explained that what the ladies did blowing up the ghost was a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Because it turns out that when they explode, they're eventually going to reform together as a bigger ghost. They got lucky that they blew them up and then sucked them up into a wormhole. Otherwise, they would have made a bigger problem.
I love how that's kind of like Ghostbusters admitting, yeah, that movie sucked.
Well, but they were still respectful to everyone else, though.
Yeah.
They just simply said, bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but they also explained the Gozer message that they show at the end. Oh, no, that was actually an echo from their world. They went, in other words, Gozer doesn't exist in their world.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like we said, though, I mean, can I tell you, and here's a unique type of movie tie-in, the adaptations of movies that never were.
Okay, go ahead.
Kevin Smith's Green Hornet and his Bionic Man.
Okay, there you go.
Those are really good.
Or like if they made an adaptation of the script for like Superman Lives.
Yep. Or if we get the continuation of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, in which case I would take those ones definitely as canon. Like if they continue the Snyderverse in comics, that's canon. That's 100% canon.
And let's be honest, Zach himself said he's game for it.
So if Zach,
and they've been talking.
And you know Zach would be involved in it. So it's like it fulfills all of the canicity like requirements.
Exactly. And would you agree with that though? Like for him, he'd probably be like, unless I ever do the movie, I'll take a comic.
He just wants the story to be told. So I'm like, okay, that's why I've been always like this way. Of course, I would prefer a live action movie.
Oh, Frank Miller's RoboCop. Right? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Tevye brings up a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. But,
and then and he also did it. They also adapted his RoboCop 3 script. But the interesting about that is not a follow up to his RoboCop 2. That was him doing a script to RoboCop 2 that was theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
But if you follow them one after the other, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, exactly. Our tie-ins comics are what in global events. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things that people complain about, and Robert and I were like, they shouldn't complain about it. Anyone that thinks that the tie-in material should be automatically canon don't know what they're talking about.
Again, unless said so.
But if you're going in there with a blanket understanding, you don't know what you're talking about.
By the way, I can give you one tie-in comic that is canon because the creator has said so, and is a sequel or an interquel to a web series. You ever heard of the web series Zombie with an X?
No.
Oh, it's really good. It's by James Farr. He's known for doing other animations like Transformers. Thomas the Tank Engine meets Transformers.
Oh, okay.
And this one is the case, but yeah, he did a comic that is set in, like after the original original cartoon. It is canon, and he has made that very clear to me. And I'm always one to bring it up on his videos, and he's always applying me like, "Thank you for remembering it."
Yeah, all right, that works. Plus, let's be real, tie-in comics can always be a message trying to fit. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with it, because again, if it's just like because oftentimes it can turn just into the writer's fan fiction about the movie they're talking about.
Then of course, then you have comics that are more pitches for movies, like most of Mark Millar's stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like most of his stuff is clearly a pitch for my next Netflix series.
Yeah, or movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, sometimes the bottom line is it's canon unless otherwise contradicted.
Yeah, exactly. In regular global events, Marvel and DC tie-ins are part of history and canon. Yeah. But it's like,
but would you agree that's the best way to say it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's canon unless otherwise stated.
Or like sometimes again, if they
or contradicted.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, because they don't always have to say this is canon, this is not. If it's like overtly contradicted, yeah, we can say it's not
canon. You can have your own headcanon. That's fine.
100%.
But don't be saying, "Oh, it is canon."
Yeah, exactly.
Or it isn't canon. Again, that's the problem with the Sonic stuff going on. You have people who are just jumping up and down saying, "It's not canon! It's not canon!" The characters appeared in Crossworld.
Yeah, exactly.
Try again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And then you have some people sending death threats to the creators because they don't want it to be canon.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not kidding, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, well, let me put it this way. It doesn't surprise me that stupid people will do that, because people have way too much attention on their headcanon.
Exactly.
And then Tevye asked, actually, speaking of tie-in comics, are you guys excited for the new Ben 10? Yeah, that's actually really cool. That actually is.
Now that is going to be looked at. Apparently, they're not allowed to use Vilgax.
Yeah, and
you know why?
Why?
Apparently, Cartoon Network said their design was too scary.
Okay.
So they're having to work around Vilgax.
So I guess they'll invent a new villain. Oh, NJ says the Witcher, like in game, you can pick either Yennefer or Tress Marigold, but in the books, his canonical love interest is Yennefer.
Well, here's the thing, though. Witcher is set place after the books.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way things played out, given his amnesia and everything, it actually makes sense for him to possibly pick someone other than Yennefer.
Yeah, exactly.
You be an idiot!
Tevi says the tie-ins for Hickman's Secret Wars are real, but no, by tie-ins we mean tie-ins into like a game or like a movie. But yeah,
not to
those
event.
were really fun. Those were early fun though. TMO. My Elementus says, anyone remember Bionicle canon? Everything was canon because they were all written by the creator. Yeah,
that counts. That counts.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, but Vilgax is a villain, and we need him for season 1. So yeah, but again, Tavia, this isn't straight up adapting season 1.
No, they're not. It's its own reboot. It's like the Captain Planet reboot.
Yeah, exactly.
Or comic.
Yeah, so it's not going to be. So it doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be the main villain. They can make a new one.
Now, here's something that can be a case of where they try to make it canon, but then later contradict themselves, of course, and that's Master of the Universe Revelations.
Yeah. Okay, explain how that contradicted.
Well, let's be honest. There's so much in the lore that you realize, wait a minute, this cannot be one-to-one exactly following up on the show. It just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to look at it as a broad stroke continuation, but not a direct continuation.
By the way, Cameron asked, does Conan have tie-ins? Oh, yeah. Oh,
well, yeah.
But like I said, yes, a tie-in is different than a comic adaptation.
And especially when it's a comic adaptation of a book compared to the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like how there was a Conan video game around the time as the Arnold movie, but then you realize, oh, wait, it's adapting the books, not Arnold's movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the AVGN brought that up, and he's like, then why am I reviewing this for Schwarzenegger games?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Oh, here's one that is considered canon, but of course people are like, but the original creator wasn't involved. The Danny Phantom comics.
Ah, there you go.
Those are treated as canon, but of course Butch is not involved at all. So you have some people who, and that's the one thing. Can it be? Oh, I look at it as it's a canon until it's ever contradicted. We're not going to get anything else. If we're not going to get a new show, this is the new canon.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just go on, because particularly since it's doing a reboot.
Exactly.
So it's like if we're not getting a new Ben 10 show or anything like that, and they're rebooting, just take this as the new Ben 10 universe.
I mean, hey, we already had this will be the third time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because we had the other Ben 10, which.
Elemental said, yeah, like how the robot in the original Filmation show came from a planet of sentient robots, while Revelations had him as a robot built by Man-at-Arms.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I say it's a broad stroke.
Yeah, in my case, I take the show canon more as like canon, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's like with Dispatch, honestly, because it's like, remember, they had tie-in comics, but again, it's worked on by people that work at the studio. Again, I would say canon.
Now, I would say this, though. After finding out what happened to Robert's father, makes it either that book is wrong or with what we were told was wrong.
Either way.
Where do you stand?
I would have to go with... What were the options again?
Either how the comic showed how Robert's father died, and he was only shot once. He didn't crap himself or anything. He was just shot once, and that was it. Or he was shot multiple times and crapped himself before he was finished off.
I take that more of like the villain trying to intimidate.
That's what I thought.
That's the easy way, particularly since it's the villain explaining it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's the villain trying to get in Robert's head.
But what makes it contradictory is that Robert was there when it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
In the book.
Yeah, and by DCU Superman comic tie-in in which he fought Metallo, canon or not. According to Gunn, none of the tie-in material is canon.
Which I don't blame him for that. Especially when they're done as promotion.
Well, here's the problem then. then why do them?
That could have been a case of it was again just a promotion.
That is very true. That is
Sometimes those things, especially when you did one for the pets, that's a case where it was done purely as a promotion. And even then, it's so vague that it doesn't matter if it's canon or not. He's just not going to reference it.
Yeah, I know, but that works. But anyway, so I think that's a good place to leave it. So, all right. So as for what's next to Comics League tonight at 6, we're going to be doing CLD, where the main topic is going to be the fact that looks like Paramount is buying Warner Brothers, ladies and gents.
Yep.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun. And we're going to talk about all the implications about that, all the different ways that this could work out well or also bad. And then in terms of like the movie night, tomorrow we're going to be talking about what's the word? Oh yeah, Red Sonja, the newer movie, which honestly I finished it last night. I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
I guess. Where did you find a copy to watch?
I watched it on a site. That's all I'll say. And then
okay, I'll check the site out myself.
And then NJ says R.I.P. Wonder Woman. Nope, NJ. I doubt that this means they're going to de-emphasize. I think people saying they're going to de-emphasize Wonder Woman are again the fear mongers that are just doing it for clicks.
I'll tell you this. Can I hear the one thing I'm worried about is
what? Go
ahead. They might sex her up more.
Yeah,
that's more likely to happen.
More likely, but still not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed.
Well, the other thing, and I'll say this in the show, it's more likely they'll officially have her be straight.
Yep.
So there's that.
Although again, I don't think they're going to ever do something where they just come out and say
they won't say it. Well, actually, what you'll do is you'll have creative stop referencing it and just ignoring it.
Oh yeah, they're going to probably put a moratorium on that.
Yeah, 100. They'll have Rucka shut up. And then they'll have like everyone else, do not say anything about her being that way.
Oh, great. I got it. I'm going to ask you a question when we're done, after the stream's done.
Yeah, anyway, so Robert, where can we find you? Oh, and then Britt and I are going to be talking about comparing Hippolyta's romances to that of Wonder Woman. Anyway, so Robert, where can we find you? What have you got coming on your
link
channel?
Down below, and I'm going to be eventually streaming, probably tomorrow, Resident Evil Requiem.
Hell yeah.
It's so good!
And speaking of game streaming, I've started back to doing my game streaming. I'm on Mass Effect 3. After that, I think I'm going to do Darksiders 3, which is basically Absolute Wonder Woman, the video game.
Oh, Fury.
Yeah, I know, right? With magical.
Hello, brother.
I love that. But anyway, stay at work, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.